Welcome back, everybody. Today, we'll be discussing the Jordan 1 True Blue. Specifically, we'll be discussing whether you should sell or hold the Jordan 1 True Blue and why that is. To preface this, if you guys enjoy these types of videos regarding the market, reselling, and even info on how to acquire these limited products, be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way, you're always 100% updated. Furthermore, for more urgent updates like the recent shock drops we've seen, follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10, and also Personals for You. And of course, for early information before these drops actually occur, Endurance has your back, such as the shock drop for the SB Dunk Low Why So Sad. In fact, Endurance will be having a limited restock this Sunday, January 15th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Follow the Endurance Twitter if you happen to be interested. For those who don't know, the Jordan 1 True Blue releases on January 14th, tomorrow. Retail will be $180 in men's sizes, $140 on grade school, $85 in preschool, and $70 in toddler. We'll be focusing on the men's pairs today though. Stock on these is just about average for a Jordan 1 at over 130,000 pairs. In order to determine if the Jordan 1 True Blue will be a fruitful hold, we will cover an estimated range of what the sneaker will settle at after the drop, and also when the shipments come in, essentially the pair is going into circulation, whether they're expected to increase post-drop or even hypothetically decrease, along with how much specifically over specific periods of time, and finally, what type of margin are we looking at for these in terms of holding. Not the retail to resell initial margin, but rather just the hold margin over X period of time. Kicking it off, let's discuss the estimated range that these should be settling at. To begin with, again, stock for these is just about average for a Jordan 1, so nothing too different there. Unfortunately, though, like many recent Jordan 1s, the demand on these is looking relatively low. This is clearly reflected in the lackluster bids and even the low sale volume for a general release Jordan, despite pre-sale already being so low. If you recall, for the lost and found Jordan 1s, StockX wasn't even able to load a full hour's worth of sales. But these, as you can see, there are multiple hours worth, indicating low volume, despite them being so low in value already, which really is not a good sign. Retail is $180, and pre-sale is already quite close to that. So with that said, it's looking like unless there is a high, unexpected positive impulsivity effect, these are mostly just going to be personals, unless you have no tax in your state and you're okay with a very poor margin on the larger sizes, or you have local buyers and you could avoid seller fees. Obviously not an ideal release. Now, regarding a specific price range, prices have already seen the vast majority of their pre-drop decrease since it is the day before. This leaves the current average at about $202 for sizes 8 to 12, but of course, this is only the pre-drop average. We normally see a notable change post-US drop. This is when we normally experience what I like to refer to as the impulsivity effect. You guys should know what I'm referring to by now, as we discuss this very frequently, yet it almost always occurs to some degree. Regarding the impulsivity effect, if you haven't watched my seller hold videos before, sneaker drops specifically impact human impulsiveness significantly after an individual fails to acquire that desired product due to insufficient supply and too much demand. Therefore, on average, we normally see about a 5 to 10% increase of the pre-drop prices post-drop. Now, as we discussed already, demand is unfortunately quite low on these. However, it is also worth noting how low in value the pre-sale already is. So, while I'm not expecting the full 10% impulsivity effect because of the low demand, I'm still expecting a very minor positive impulsivity effect because of how low in value these are currently, potentially just slightly oversold. This could potentially leave prices at $212 on average from sizes 8 to 12, so larger sizes would still hypothetically hang in the low 200 range and the smaller ones just slightly under 200. Remember though, this is just temporary. Now, let's discuss what prices will look like once the shipments go out in the 1 to 2 week range. During this period, the vast majority of pairs will be going into circulation. As usual for general releases, I'd expect the typical 10% decrease, nothing unusual here. This would then hypothetically leave prices at about $191, so larger sizes would still hover close to 200, and smaller sizes close to retail, so obviously not ideal for resale. Even that positive impulsivity effect, these are mostly just personals, unless you have no tax and are okay with brick profit, or you have local buyers, and that's really only just for the large sizes, if anything. Now that the average price range at those points in time are evident though, let's discuss whether they're expected to increase from that post-shipment range or continue to decrease. A few Jordan 1 drops ago, I would have said, considering how low these already are, I can't see them going much lower. But given what we have seen on some other recent non-classic colorways recently, it's certainly a possibility still. Optimistically, perhaps this colorway, since it is blue and otherwise universal, will hold up better than others, even though demand doesn't seem to be the best as of now. But I still wouldn't really expect these to increase for quite a while at least, so most likely just a very long plateau. Long term though, I do of course eventually expect them to increase, but nothing very notable. Finally, regarding the hold margin on these, essentially, are these actually going to be worth your time, even if they do eventually increase? Considering I'm expecting to see a pretty long plateau on these, and some other non-classic recent Jordan 1s have actually continued to decrease in value, the short-term ROI certainly will not be good. There is a possible risk it might even be negative. Long term, while I do expect these can increase, I highly doubt it'll be anything substantial. Maybe in a few years we could see these in the high 200s, so hypothetically that would provide a 30 to 35% ROI, which is good, but nothing spectacular by any means, and that's optimistically. Hence, I would rate these a below average at 3 out of 10, worse than the recent Jordan 2s we just discussed, and even those were rated below average. Personally, I'm just going for a personal pair on these. Also, just a note in general, for anyone considering holding any items who does have low capital, you should never hold anything in general if you don't have sufficient capital to go for as many drops as possible at your full potential without holding back. If you need money to go for all drops, try to sell these as soon as possible. Let me know what you guys are doing with your pairs down in the comments below. Since this is a discussion at the end of the day, I can't predict the future. That's just my personal analysis based on the data that I've acknowledged. We have a lot of brilliant minds watching the video right now, so I implore you to leave your notions down in the comments below as well. But anyway, that'll conclude it for today. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or perhaps if you learned a thing or two. And remember that the Endurance restock will be January 15th, this Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Follow the Endurance Twitter if you are interested. Subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you stay 100% updated on all these typed releases. Also, be sure to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies from Kit Proxies. You can also now join eDeals with the link in the description for only $14.99 per month. Furthermore, feel free to follow Gargantua if you want to keep up with the progress or restocks. And last but not least, make sure to follow Keith Adam 10 and Persons for You. This way you guys stay updated on our urgent info like I was going over today. With that, I will see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and of course, good luck if you happen to be going for these.